On January 27, 1994, Silman and Smith kickstart their scam against Oregon State. Las Vegas oddsmen set Smith's ASU as 14-point favorites. Silman and gang bet heavily on Oregon State. Smith fixes the game by slacking on defense. The Sun Devils win, but only by 6 points. Since ASU doesn't cover the Vegas spread, Silman wins. After the game, campus bookie Silman delivers Smith's payout, $20,000 for a job well done.
Did I accept the money? Yes. I was trying to live that fast life.
Silman and Smith fixed 2 more games without drawing any heat. Flush with success, Silman lets a lot of people in on the secret. Silman's friends from Chicago and New Jersey fly to Vegas for the next game. March 5th, 1994, Saturday morning. Smith and his Sun Devils prepare to face the University of Washington at home. There's nothing extraordinary about this game, yet. In Las Vegas, college-age gamblers hit the sportsbooks as soon as they open.
They were like a bull in a china shop when they were making their bets. They just kept coming repeatedly, instead of like every couple hours maybe popping in and making a play.
Although the Sun Devils are 11-point favorites, somehow all the wagering is on Washington. In response to the lopsided betting, the point spread, which is also called the line, keeps dropping as odds makers desperately try to even out the action.
The line on the Arizona State game opened at 11 and it dropped to 3 by tip-off, and that type of movement on a college basketball game is unheard of.
Sportsbook managers are concerned. They check with the other casinos.
They found that pattern of betting was only here in Las Vegas and was all over town. At that time, there was no knowledge that a crime was being committed. We just knew that something odd was happening.
The betting action is way out of the ordinary. Suspicious sportsbook managers alert the NCAA.
In a normal Pac-10 game, regular season, we might write 8,000-10,000, somewhere in that general area. But for this particular game, we wrote well into the low 6 figures. It was an unbelievable flurry of action on that game.
At tip-off, the betting line has dropped so dramatically, ASU can only win by 2 points or less. For Smith to successfully throw the game, the pressure is on. At halftime, Smith's fix is working. The score, Arizona State 25, Washington 23. Sun Devils coach Bill Frieder is given the heads up that something is not right. In the locker room, the coach confronts Smith, the team's captain.
He was furious. Yeah, I can't say it on camera, but it's some bleep, 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 bleep going on. Be afraid to get angry.
After Frieder's halftime tongue lashing, Smith abandons the point shaving scheme.
Wasn't even nothing to think about. It was over. We went out second half and blew them out.
Most observers reported this game as a game of 2 halves. The first half, ASU was totally inept, and the second half, they were, Final Four quality team.
The Sun Devils crush Washington 73-55. Everyone who bet on Washington is out of luck. Smith knows he has to face an angry Silman who lost all of his bets.
Since we lost the game, I'm thinking, the same money he was giving me, I had to give to him. I go home, Benny's there. So I'm saying, don't worry about it, man. I got your money upstairs. So I was prepared to give him $40,000. It's like, nah, it's bigger than that. Like, what the hell you talking about? You scared? Ain't nobody just gonna lose and everybody be still alive. He left town that night. I didn't talk to nobody. My best friend, my mother. I didn't tell nobody.
In Las Vegas, agents from the Nevada Gaming Control Board are closing in. After weeks of forensic auditing of the sports book records, they uncover evidence of unusually high betting on the March 5th game and several more ASU games before that.
If you're taking advantage of the knowledge of the outcome of an event to then defraud a casino or a sports book, then you're guilty of fraud.
3 months later, Smith wins Athlete of the Year. As for the scam, rumors of the point shaving persist, but nothing comes of it, and Smith thinks it's behind him.
I thought I was going to beat it.
Then, in June 1994, Smith's big moment arrives, the NBA draft. He can finally cash in on his talents, legally. But now, the whispers of throwing a game are no longer whispers, and the NBA doesn't want to play with Smith.
I thought I was untouchable, but that wasn't reality.
All Pac-10 team captain, highest scorer in ASU history, number 44 Stephen Smith, goes undrafted. Smith spends the next 3 years playing minor league ball, everywhere from Paris, France to Sioux Falls, South Dakota, trying to rebuild his reputation. It takes years, but in 1997, the Dallas Mavericks come calling. Smith's not the only one whose luck has changed. In Las Vegas, after years of investigating, the Nevada Gaming Control Board and the FBI crack the point-shaving case.
They managed to work back through people that they had indicted, people that had given them information, to one of the players on the ASU team.
I didn't think it would blow up like it did, and it blew up huge.
Who is it? Step back, please.
And the feds came to me, and I found out the numbers, and it was over $1.3 million lost on the game. That was scary.
Smith was in the NBA at the time that he was indicted. So it cost him his professional basketball career.
In November 1999, Smith goes before a judge and gets a year in prison and a new number.
Going from Stephen Smith to 010444748, that was my federal prison number. I mean, if that ain't real, I don't know what the hell is real.
Smith is released from prison in 2000.
Won the European Cup. They don't never talk about that. They don't never talk about the fact that I had a 3.5 GPA, that I was the male student athlete of the year. I beat Phil Mixon, who's now one of the top golfers in the world. They don't talk about that. They don't talk about the records I still have right to this day, not only in the Pac-10, but at Arizona State. You just only hear Stephen Smith, the one who point shaved. That's just something I got to live with for the rest of my life,
There are two kinds of insiders when it comes to cheating Vegas. Those who are cheaters and those who are watching cheaters.
A cheat when he comes into a casino is very different than a tourist. He's looking for something. He's observing the dealers. He's watching what's happening. He doesn't see the lights. He doesn't see the flashing signs. He sees what we're doing and the money he's going to take from us.
And here are 7 of the most common cheats demonstrated in detail by our own insiders. These scams are what the surveillance professionals are looking for every day.
Of all the ways there are to mark playing cards in play, the simplest thing is to bend the playing cards. I'm going to show you an example of how the bad guys bend cards in play in a casino. You notice a high card and a low card, and simply in the action of either hitting or asking for a card or tucking the cards under the money, I just bent the playing cards. You'll notice that one corner does not touch the surface of the table. That identifies it to the cheater as a high card. You notice that this corner does touch the table. That means it's a low card. Now I can tell high cards from low cards in future rounds of play.
Then there's the trick insiders call banging the paints.
They call face cards paints because there's more ink on the card. It looks as though I'm just placing a bet, when in fact, I'm marking that little card with my knuckle. And in the simple act of giving this chip to the dealer as a tip, I mark the playing card. Notice as I touch that card and say, "Here, dealer, this is for you," I tap the face of the face card with the chip, and I put a mark on the back of the playing card that can be seen and identified in future rounds of play. If I see a bump on the back of a card, I know it's a high card. I would therefore know that anything without a bump is a low card. It helps me win by knowing whether I should hit if it's a small card or stand if it's a big card.
But card games aren't the only ones surveillance officers have to scrutinize. Cheats can also tamper with dice games, like craps.
This is an old school scam that was used in cheating at craps called dice switching. In this example, I brought my own dice from home. This is going to be signified by the red color dice, and the house dice will be the green color. These dice do not have any 1, 2, 3s on them. They only have 4, 5s, and 6s. The eye can't tell because when you put a die on the table, everybody can only see 3 different sides at one time. I'm looking at a 4, 5, 6. You're looking at a 4, 5, 6. The dealer is looking at a 4, 5, 6. The switch takes place when the casino dice is passed to the cheater. He would pick up the dice like this, and then the crooked dice are dropped to the table at the exact same time the casino dice are picked up into the hand, and then the crooked dice are thrown down the layout. So these dice can only roll the numbers 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and cannot lose. Watch. 10, 12. That was a great one. I would have won a lot of money on that roll. 11. That was a good one. So you can see these dice are very dangerous.
But not all dice cheats rely on bogus dice. Some rely on good old-fashioned sleight of hand.
One of the most common methods of cheating at craps is known as a slide shot. This is where the cheater doesn't throw the die, it's being slid. In this case, I just want to slide a 6. And then my partner or myself, we bet big on the field. The field means if a 9, 10, 11, or 12 roll, I win. What would guarantee me a 6 on one die, the only numbers that could hurt me here are the 1 and the 2. Any other number I win. And if a 6 rolls, I win triple. So when I pick up these dice, my thumb flips over the die and I get them in this position. When the dice are thrown, the back die is thrown legitimately, but that 6 isn't being thrown, it's being whipped out of the hand. This whipping action gives the illusion that the dice is being thrown, when in reality it's being spun. So if I take that 6, when I throw it, that 6 isn't being thrown, it's being slid along the layout. This is definitely one of the better ways to take off a crap game, for the simple reason is you're using the casino's own equipment against itself. You're not bringing in anything from the outside.
Hand mucking is the art of switching cards in play. I'm going to show you how that switch might happen in the game of blackjack. In order to switch cards, you have to have one of the casino's cards, so you steal the card in advance or corrupt someone to get you one of the cards. And in this case, I have one of the casino's aces. I add the ace to the game, steal the 6 away, and now, voila, I have the blackjack. And if I want to clean up, then I go to the sleeve.
This next scam is going to require a little teamwork. What just happened right now is me and Jason both have bets down on the pass line. As soon as I know that bet is going to win, Jason's going to take over.
And I'm going to distract the dealer by asking a simple question at the right moment. Dealer, can I get change for 200, please? Thank you.
At the exact same time when the dealer was distracted, I reached down and added money to my bet. And instead of winning 200, now I win 700. What you're going to see right now is a different form of pass posting. What you've seen before was me pressing my bet. I had a bet and I added more called pressing. Pass posting means I'm actually going to make a bet after the dice have been rolled. I have one chip palmed in my hand. That's the chip I'm going to pass post, and that's the chip that's invisible to the dealer. So the moment I see a field 1, the chip that I hold in my hand is when I'm going to ask for change. So as this chip comes down, at the exact same time that's getting slapped, that's getting dropped, guaranteeing myself a sure winner.
But having an inside edge is not always enough in Vegas. Because here, casinos know their enemies and will stop at nothing to shut them down.
The cheats will always try. I'm always going to have a job. And my main role in life here is to protect the assets.